So my name is Ian Wilgus. I work as a paramedic in Arizona and also as a firefighter. I'm actually a fire lieutenant. I'm out here representing with Baker Company, 1st Battalion, 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 82nd Airborne Division, as they would have been jumping into Normandy. So what I do out here is I kind of just work at the first aid skill level, bandage wounds, make sure people are getting hydrated, drinking enough water, things like that. You know, life threats. If somebody does go into cardiac arrest, I'll start CPR and get help from the people on the medical team here. So what we've got is kind of a decent layout of what some of the medics would have carried throughout Normandy and certain things that I do personally. So to start with, we've got just a standard set of web gear. I personally carry 2 canteens. I have one for my personal water and one for my guys' water. You know, if somebody's getting hydrated, I've got an extra canteen to pour a little bit of water on their head or give them a drink of water if they've run out, or if somebody, you know, kind of skirted the canteen check, because we do check to make sure everybody has a full canteen before we go into these battle reenactments. Some other stuff I have here is, you know, I've got my musette bag, and it's just filled with some extra clothing to be lightweight. But in here, wrapped in one of my undershirts, is our emergency flag. So at D-Day Conneaut, the way we call for medical is we wave this flag. So I have this flag nice and wrapped up so that until it's needed, the public doesn't even really know it's there. Because they would, you know, fold up blankets, ponchos like this, or raincoats and stick them in the top flap of the musette bag. Now funnily enough, I started this by portraying a technician grade 5, which is a tech corporal, and due to just the amount of stuff that's happening, I ended up basically being the medical for the entire airborne unit at this event, which is 3 distinct units and a headquarters unit. So they ended up deciding to promote me to a lieutenant's position while we were out here.
Very well deserved.
We've got my helmet that has what they call the follow me bar on the back, and on the front marks that I am a 2nd lieutenant. So that guys know. I personally wear 2 armbands during battles. I have my left arm armband, which was the standard for just every US medic during World War II. And the 505th implemented something specific to them, as far as I can tell, where they would attach another medic brassard to their medic bag that was worn on their right side. Now, with the medic bags, something that was unique to the 505th, at least in photo evidence, it's only a 505th guy by the name of Raymond Queen who kept these vials on the outside of his bag.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I do that because I'll carry things like Benadryl or aspirin or some Tylenol for my guys, that they know it's there. If they feel like they have a headache or whatever, they can come get it from me, and it's all marked for me.
That's cool.
I also, even though the 505th only carried 1 medic bag, I do bring a 2nd that is packed full of nothing but real world stuff. In case there is an emergency, I have it, and that's why the tan medic bag is the real world.
Okay.
The green medic bag is the one that stays on me, and that green medic bag is a little unique because it is a British-made original from World War II. Now, another very unique piece that I'm very proud to own is this other larger bag here. That is what's called a rigger-made plasma bag. So this would be worn. So if you know how a parachute sits, you'd sit right about here as your reserve canopy. You got the big canopy on your back. This would sit under that canopy. Now, this bag is not meant to be carried into battle. This bag is how you built your aid station. Between the drop canisters and these bags carried by each and every medic in the 505th, these would be dropped at a collection point, and that's where they would build the aid station. So this is one of the very unique things. I've only ever seen one of these for sale, and this is the one that I own. And I do currently have an early war one in the process of being made for me.
That's cool.
And something else that I personally did, I couldn't find any reproduction plasma bottles online personally. So I took some bottles that I found, mixed up some food dye, found some latex tubing, and took the plastic catheter off some expired IVs, and thus was able to make...
Which I love. You can make a nice, easy kind of...
Nice, easy fake IV real. That we did in the battles for our fake wounded, so that you actually saw some of their care.
Right.
Now, some other items I have is I have the gas mask bag that would have been worn on usually the left leg by your paratroopers. And this was a very big thing for them because it's a waterproof bag. You put, you know, for the guys that smoke, they would put their cigarettes in there. They would put, you know, papers, picture of your girl or whatever. That would be what goes in this bag. Because they threw the gas mask away as soon as they got on the ground because they realized the Germans aren't going to use gas. There's no reason. and half the guys in the book say they didn't even jump with the gas masks. So something else, and I just got this, and I'll give a shout out to the guy who made it. Stand in the Door 1944. I picked this up from him at this event. It is a plated Bible.
Oh, no way. I've never
So
seen that.
basically there's a metal plate because you wear it in the left breast pocket. So the idea is if you get hit, it'll catch the bullet.
That's
So this one has engraved on it, "May the Lord be with you." And they have some others that have some slightly different engravings, like "For my loved one," stuff like that. Stand in the Door. I also personally keep a squad leader's notebook because I'll take notes. Like we did a 505th briefing yesterday, and I was able to take some notes as to what we would have been doing. And we had the honor of having Chloe Gavin, and if you don't know who that is, that was General Gavin's daughter, was at our display yesterday, and she loved it, and it was just an amazing feeling. And she told us that how much she loved what we're doing to keep her dad's legacy alive.
wow.
So I also have an original bandage here. So that's a little different than like our 4x4s and blood stoppers, but that's what they would have been putting on people during the Second World War. Now, as paratroopers, we are known for having every faith in our scrounging abilities. This is a German bandage. So you'd find them, they'd find these, they'd grab them, you know. That's the first thing I'm gonna look for if I find a dead German or a captured German. I'm gonna be like, cool, bandages, morphine, stuff like that. Over here, we also have the paratrooper switchblade knife. Now, we do say that medics didn't carry weapons. They did not carry firearms. That's kind of different. We did carry knives, especially the airborne medics, because if I get tangled up in a tree, I still have to get myself out.
Yeah.
So this would sit here in a special pocket right here, and it's, you know, a drop knife, so you'd kind of just flip it out and use it to cut if you had to. Paratrooper medics also still carried the famous M3 fighting knife that would go around your leg. So this would sit on your leg and it would hold here, and that way if you get caught up in your chute, you can almost always get to your lower leg. Talking to some 505th veterans, a lot of them would also put the parachute first aid kit on their ankle because no matter how you fall, you can get to an ankle. I personally have it on my suspender up here. But if I were to get hit and fall face down, how easy is my aid kit to get to? So that is one of the other things that that's one of those things you don't sometimes find in the books. You have to learn from talking to vets.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, we did also find out that there are no 505th vets left living in the world. We found that out yesterday from Miss Gavin herself. And so that makes what we're doing even that much more important, because now that living memory of the guys who are actually there is gone. So we have to carry those stories into the next generation. So other things we have here are some wound tablets, and these actually have edible candies in them, so that during battles we can actually be putting wound tablets into people's mouths.
That's cool. That's cool.
Those were made by one of our PFCs. He is down on the beach right now, actually. And so that's kind of some of the stuff that I have, and I have spent a long time doing this. I've actually been doing reenacting for 15 years. I started when I was 13 years old as a medic. Went through rifleman, squad leader, unit leader at one point. I ran a unit with one of my close friends to do Sicily 82nd Airborne, and oddly enough, being a medic and reenacting led to my interest in modern
I was
medicine.
gonna ask if that impacted.
And I have had such an amazing experience as a paramedic. It has really changed my life, and so I love that I'm able to come out here, do this really detailed airborne medic impression, and get what guys like, you know, Doc McGilvey, Pete Sewer, the guys in the 505th who really worked and made this happen and saved so many lives during World War II. Doc McGilvey actually was the first American doctor to deliver a baby in occupied France. I believe it was June 9th or 10th. He gets woken up in the middle of the night. They grabbed a chaplain's assistant who they thought spoke French, drove to a barn in the middle of the night where, with no translator, he coached a 19-year-old French girl by candlelight into delivering a baby. Now, I personally have delivered a baby in the field as a paramedic, and I can tell you that is one of the craziest feelings to be part of that in somewhere that is not a hospital. To be invited into someone's home, and I cannot imagine what Doc McGilvoy felt when he was in that position. So,
Do you're definitely part of a very rich history unit, and I really appreciate it. As well as, like, thank you for what you're doing real medical-wise here. Like,
Thank you, ma'am.
he's been doing an absolute amazing job of keeping all of his units safe because they've had a lot of different medical, a little bit of a black cloud.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but he's doing absolutely amazing, and we're really proud to have you here. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katie.
Thank you.
The original commanding officers,
Yeah.
they would always sing the song Jack of Diamonds.
Really?
I believe he was either killed or relieved.
Yeah.
I think it was killed. And when he was killed, they made 1st Battalion Jack of Diamonds in his honor, and they all painted it on their helmets, at least a lot of the officers.
And oddly enough, some of the guys I just mentioned, Pete Sewer, who was the assistant regimental surgeon,
Yeah.
he was known as a daredevil for going to get wounded, and he would actually be killed in Holland because of it. The airborne medics, actually the first medic to be killed in Sicily was an airborne medic.
Wow.
He dropped into the barbed wire in a crossfire field of Italian pillboxes, and he was shot up before he even got out of the wire. There was another medic, and right now I'm just spacing his name, but Colonel Gorham, one of the battalion regimental commanders, took a bazooka during the Battle of Piazza Ridge, at which point the 505th fought against the Hermann Goering Division with 16 of just Tiger 1 tanks. And he took a bazooka and he was obliterated, but one of the medics actually ran up there and the Tiger fired again, and it actually blew off half of his face, and he ended up living through that. Yeah. So the 505th medics were, in my opinion, some of the bravest medics.
Absolutely.
And it's an honor to be able to give to share their history.
And it's so important what you're doing, because now that, like you said, they're all gone.
They're all gone.
This is all we really have of that history, keeping it alive and keep
Yes.
telling you stories, because we're losing so much of it. And like, to think of like how much we've already lost,
Yeah.
story wise, and people's history. Wow, I'm glad you did it.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great. This is a really cool unit to be a part of.
Thank you. We
Nice seeing
appreciate
you
it
tonight.
for
We'll
sure.
give you a salute on the way out.
Hey, thank you.
You have a good one.
You too.